All right, in this tutorial, we are going to be in the events module. Now, this is a feature that we've been working on and we're still doing improvements to it, but we want to have it out for people to be able to use. So know there are some limitations to it, but it does have some features that are really beneficial as well. And what we're going to be doing today is we call it a grouped event. So this allows people to sign up once, but it registers them for uh, multiple days of an event. Maybe it's once a week for a month, or maybe it's once a day for 3 days. This allows you to kind of make those larger reservation times. So maybe it's a class that runs, like I said, once a day or once a week for a month or for 2 months or something like that. And they can register, pay once, and then be registered for all of them. Also in this, you have the option to say, hey, you can sign up for each class individually and charge one price, or you can sign up for the group and give kind of a discount. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this isn't like a step-by-step. I'm going to show you how I set this up and what it looks like in the point of sale and online. But and then there will be a click-through guide to kind of show you what the buttons do and how to work them. So what I want to do first off is hop into what this looks like in the point of sale. So when you're trying to sell a grouped event in the point of sale, it'll pop up like this. So in your point of sale, if you want to have an event, you're just going to go add that event. Now I've got this 3-day retreat. And so it says retreat day 1, day 2, and day 3. And then it gives me the dates and times. So that's May 1st, May 2nd, and May 3rd. Now when someone registers for this, they're going to register for 3 separate events. Plus, this is kind of like the registration trigger event. So you create this 3-day retreat event as kind of your trigger. So when they buy this, they get signed up for all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and discard that and go back to my back office here. Now, if we were to come into this and go to the website, I haven't done anything to make this look pretty, but essentially it gives you the date and time for this first one, and then oh, that's the day 1. No wonder. That's the day 1. So if I go to events and actually go on my 3-day retreat event and then go to the website, it's going to list the group events here, and it will say, hey, retreat day 1, retreat day 2, and retreat day 3. And it's going to give you all of those kind of on this side view here. And this is where you could come in, like I said in my other tutorials, give this some more information, list out what's going on in each of those days, what happens when you register for this as a single event, as a grouped event, you get this discount. So that's kind of what it looks like for the online registration. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of how we set this up. So when you're doing a grouped event, we need to set up what I call a trigger event. And in this case, I called it the 3-day retreat. And I set my date so it spans across all this time. You don't have to do that. You could set it as the first date. It doesn't necessarily matter. It's going to show up. This is where it's going to show up on the calendar view for the website, or like the next 30 days view. This will trigger that. But you're going to go ahead and set your date. In this case, since it's a 3-day retreat, I just wanted to cover all 3 days. Like I said, if it spans a month or two, maybe you just want to put the first week on there. And then in my case, what I also did is I created a unique registration product. And there's other tutorials on how to do this. It's pretty simple, but this gives me just a little bit more in-depth ability to get reporting about just this event registration. Otherwise, when you create your tickets, it typically defaults to just a generic event registration. So, and then I can set my price, and this is going to be the price for the entire series. So they'll pay once, and it'll register them for all 3 days. And then I need to mark this grouped event, and when I turn this on, it gives me this tab, and this tab is what I use to select the sub events that will be that I will register, or people will register for when they sign up. And then in my communication, this is where it gets to be a little bit, you get to decide how you want this these emails to come out. So as always, we have like our event registration confirmations. You can customize these templates and duplicate them and make them specific to the events. But each one of these will have their own communication. So you could make your own registration confirmation for the 3-day event and have information about each day on there. If you do it that way, when you come to like your retreat day 1, I might recommend, but this is up to you, removing this. This email will come right after each registration. So when someone signs up, if you have this email on for each of your event days, they are going to get an individual email for that day. That's a little sub event is what we call it. So they could potentially get 3 or 4 different emails from you all at once. So this is where you get to do a little bit of deciding on how you want your emails to come through. In my case, I don't want them to get an email about each day. So I'm just going to give them a couple of reminders, and maybe I'll just leave it at that. And if I go back into it, my day 2, I'm going to go in, so it's good, and then my day 3, I've already removed that. So again, these are totally customizable, and you can make these however you want. So in my case, I want the registration confirmation to come right after they've signed up. I'm going to go ahead and in another video, I show you how to do some changing and editing of these event templates. So I'll go ahead and do that, but not in this video, because we're already getting kind of lengthy, and you've listened to me talk enough already. But the important thing here is I want to show on the point of sale what it looks like, so you can actually set up. So in this case, what I did is I set up the day 3. Maybe this is, you could have an individual registration, and instead of having it, the benefit of paying it for everything up front all 3 days is you get it for $150. Whereas if you want to buy just the 3rd day event, it's going to cost you $75. So in our point of sale, if I add an event, I can still add just this event, and I will be registered for just that day's event. Again, the email, you'll have to figure out how you want those emails to come through and everything. But it is a possibility that you could even come in and say, hey, I'm going to call this my 3-day retreat, but they can sign up for each day individually or as a group. If they sign up individually, we can set prices at $75. Now, the only difference when you're setting this up, you'll notice that when I click on add an event, I can register for all 3 or just for day 3, and that comes in your setup. Day 3, I haven't marked it as a sub event because I want it to be listed as like it could be signed up. You could sign up for it individually. Day 1, I set it as a sub event, and this means it pulls it out of that listing and doesn't allow you to sign up for it individually. So the last thing that's really important when you're creating these, and I'll mention it in the step-by-step guide as well, is that when you create your sub events that you want, or your other group events, you need to make sure that they all use the same registration product. That's how we go through and make sure that we register for them. So you'll notice in my retreat day 1, I use the 3-day retreat registration product. And my retreat day 2, I use the 3-day retreat registration product, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, we're always trying to improve this, and we're always open to little suggestions here and there. We like this because it allows you to, sign up people across multiple weeks, and they can get email reminders for different days and stuff like that. And then they can only have to register once, and they can be registered for all of the days. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, I'll go into more detail on how some of these things work in our step-by-step guide, but I just wanted to show you and give you something to think about if you've stuck with me this long through the video. Thanks.